Welcome to the Growth Minded Accountant podcast, where our experts will share best practices on running your firm in the digital age. This podcast is brought to you by CountingWorks Pro. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Minded Accountant podcast. I am your host, Lee Reams II, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today as always. I'm here with our co-host, Rebecca Barton, our Chief Visibility Officer here at CountingWorks Pro. Rebecca, how is it going?
Doing well. I'm excited to talk about email marketing today. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I know you were, I think it was snowing or almost going to snow, and it was 80 degrees here out in beautiful California yesterday. So I wasn't feeling too bad for you though, but that's the way it works. So today we're going to talk about something you had written a blog article kind of titled Your Email Database. So how can you unlock the goldmine in your tax and accounting practice? I really liked what you covered in that blog article, and I decided to kind of expand on it a little bit and really go through why your client database is, I mean, it's kind of obvious to everyone, but that is your biggest asset. You know, if you're planning for this upcoming tax season, there's 2 or 3 things that you can do by utilizing your email database and more of the client base, but also utilizing the email database to really increase your revenue and your referral sources. So we're going to go over a bunch of different tips, some best practices. We're going to talk about email hygiene. We're going to talk about upselling a little bit. We're going to talk about how to create really tight relationships. So how do we get that lifelong client that will be a referral machine? So before we get into it, I just want to sit back and kind of think about it as just simple math. Everyone's into ROI, and this is obvious to everyone, but our average client at CountingWorks Pro has approximately 350 clients. That usually is about 50 business clients, 300 individual. So let's just talk about this. If you looked at your 50 business clients, and if you're still doing hourly bookkeeping, you're tracking your time, maybe you're getting into small packages, you're still limiting the amount of income that you can have, right? So there's only so many hours in the day that your clients are only willing to pay a certain hourly rate. It's kind of hard to expand that unless you look at different types of value-added pricing models. So let's pretend out of your 50 clients, if you did a really well-defined, targeted upsell campaign to this client base, if you could get 10 of those clients to be upsold or join a virtual CFO package. And let's pretend the average there is $1,500 a month. You'll have some higher, you'll have some lower, maybe you have ABC. But think about that. Just 10 clients at 1,500 times 12, that's $180,000 more per year without really a huge lift in the amount of work you're doing. And we'll talk about how to package, how to then market that here in a little bit. So that's idea one, kind of, okay, wow, let's get a little bit excited. Now let's get into tax planning. As you're seeing more and more, the tax prep is really looked at as a commodity more and more. Tax planning is real value is. There's more and more boomer clients. There's retiring. There's people selling businesses. There's a lot more people doing multiple jobs, gig work. So there's a lot of demand for tax planning. So let's take the same type of idea. Let's take out of the 300 individual clients, you get 30 to be upsold to a 6,000 a year. I'm not even talking like a high-end package. Let's just average it at 6,000 per year for tax planning. There's another 180,000. This is all from your existing client base. So that's $360,000 sitting there without going out and spending a bunch of money with Google, without doing big social media campaigns and hiring a bunch of people and labor costs. You could just basically strategically figure out how to do that. And now let's talk about how can you use your email database also now to get you more clients. So, you know, I don't know what your particular practice is, but let's say 10% of your clients send you 1 client per year. That's 35 new clients. That's probably pretty average. We have seen the high producers, though, blow that out of the market, out of the way, right? And the reason they do that 10%, so these are what I would call your ambassadors. These are the people that really love you. They're into you. They're your best clients. They like talking about you. They love the value. You're friends with them, right? But what if they sent you 2 clients, 3 clients, 4 clients? 4 times 35 a year, that's pretty significant growth. So I just wanted to set up the tone for this podcast and kind of our topic so you get a general idea. So segment 1, we're going to talk about the value of your email database. So, and let's just talk here, and I'm going to open it up to you, Rebecca. You know, why is your email database such a valuable asset for tax and accounting professionals?
There are a lot of reasons. One of the big ones is the cost effectiveness of email marketing. So when I was doing research for the blog post that you mentioned, I was finding multiple sources, very reputable sources, that noted that email marketing typically has like a 36-to-1 return. So that means for every lead, you're only spending $36, which is really, really good compared to some other forms of marketing. You think of more traditional marketing like billboards, that kind of thing. You're spending thousands of dollars sometimes to maybe get one lead. So it's really cost effective, and it's also warm leads. People who are in your email database are people who have engaged with you in some way. Either they've given you their email because they're interested in something you've posted, they've downloaded a white paper, they've signed up for a newsletter. These are people who already know who you are, and that makes them more likely to move on the things that you're sending out via email. They're more likely to sign up for a package or engage with you in some other way.
Yeah, and then which kind of leads me into, all right, so we're saying, okay, now my database, that these are the things I'm doing with it, but how does it decay? And I'm going to get into hygiene a little bit here. So one of the things I see often is people have this wonderful database in this asset and they ignore a lot of their subscribers. They don't keep a very timely update. They don't not doing a monthly email newsletter, for example. If that's all you did from this podcast is the only takeaway, if you started doing a monthly client newsletter, you're going to dramatically see people upselling to products. You're going to see them referring more. They're going to be willing to pay more. They're going to trust you more when you actually, meet with them. So it's a big deal. So what are the ways that you can kind of verify the accuracy of your current database? So I want you to get everyone involved. So first of all, you need to track your bounce emails. Very important. So what is a bounce email? Bounce email means maybe their email was full, that's possible, or there is an inactive email. There's other reasons things can bounce. There could be an ISP issue, but if you have an email that's bouncing over and over again, that is a signal that is undeliverable. That's also bad to your hygiene and, more importantly, kind of your reputation as far as email marketing. So meaning the higher your reputation, the higher your delivery rates, right? So look at that thing. So how do I now make this part of my processes? I would say to you on every touch point that you can. So let's just talk about your annual check-in. Use a client meeting to update and verify your contact information. Is this still your mobile phone? Is this still your address? Have you added any other homes? Have you added any other email addresses? Or am I sending these the correct place? There's also ways, there's third-party tools. We use a tool called Never Bounce. And it basically is where we can load our client database in, and it is going through the internet and crawling in and saying, hey, these email addresses have changed. These are the new email addresses, and it will actually append your records and help your database stay clean as well. So now I have one, human touch points in a meeting. Two, I can use technology to do it. The third thing is, and what you'll realize, never ever buy lists. I hear it all the time, and I talk from experience. I've used cold email lists long time ago. We tried some different things, and it was awful. The results are awful. And if you, for whatever reason, get those names into your opt-in list, you're going to see really high bounce rates, and it could affect the delivery of all your emails. So 100% don't do that. So stay with the spam standards. Make sure you're dealing with canned spam. Make sure you have opt-in forms. Make sure you have opt-out forms, things like that. So when it comes to other tools, when we're doing the database, so let's say I suggest you have staff go out and connect on LinkedIn, at least, especially for the business type clients, with every client that you have. So you have a backup now. So for whatever reason, let's say your email newsletters stop delivering, you'll have another way through your social media posts to still get your information pushed out to them, right? So leverage these different outreach tools. Make sure you're using a tool like LinkedIn. And you can also at times do database. If you're using any of the paid services, you can see if you're connected to people, their active email address for LinkedIn. It's going to tell you where. So if for whatever reason I have a client's email that is bouncing, I can also utilize that. I suggest you start segmenting and pruning your list. So get rid of people that are unengaged, get rid of people that are former clients that aren't coming back. Let's say you had bad experiences with them. It's not a thing where there more is more. Sometimes if you have more, you're going to actually have lower rates. And we've gone through this whole thing. I've tested this inside and out. Sending an email to 40,000 people because it's going to 40,000 versus a targeted email to 2,500. I've gotten a higher ROI in the 2,500 every single time. So it definitely doesn't work just to throw everything against the wall. Make sure you have an opt-in form on your website. And even maybe put it in your email signature, get the latest tax tips from me, sign up for my newsletter. Those are things to really keep you, I think, the database hygiene in a good spot. So that's kind of the beginning. I hope that makes sense. So definitely, I see a lot of people just kind of neglecting it, or they have emails in Outlook. They have emails here. Put it all together in your CRM. Tools like CountingWorks Pro, you have everything, one dashboard, you can see everything. And then from there, now, how do we start working that database? So the first thing is going to be email newsletters. And, I'm going to start out with you, Rebecca. How can a consistent email newsletter benefit your practice?
There are a ton of ways. Like you mentioned, Lee, it's a great thing to do no matter who you are, no matter who you're targeting, no matter what your practice specializes in. First thing it does is keeps you top of mind all year long. A lot of people aren't thinking about taxes. You might be thinking about taxes and tax planning, but your clients aren't necessarily. So keeping you top of their inbox 12 months out of the year is a great way to make sure that they're thinking about you, that they're thinking about their finances, and that they're possibly more interested in spending money with you year round instead of just during tax prep time. Secondly, it really positions you as someone they can trust, as a partner, as someone who cares about them, not just because they're paying you to prepare their taxes, but as someone who really cares about how proper financial management and tax planning can improve their lives. And that's going to make them more loyal to you because you're proving that you actually care about them as a person, not a number. And then it also really encourages referrals because you're showcasing value. You're telling them information that they need to know that's helpful to them, that might even implement some changes in how they're managing their money or what they're doing on a year-round basis. So they're going to tell their friends, their family, hey, my tax guy or my tax girl, they are great. And they send me this and it's really helped me. It's helped our family. So you want that. Or business owners, you want them to refer to people in their network who might be interested in using your virtual CFO services or other things like that. So it can kind of hit all of those things that you need to grow and really earn more money while doing less work. And it's an easy thing to do.
Yes, it is. But the question that I would have, Rebecca, is what type of content should I include in my client newsletter? I'll give an example for our clients. The beneficial owner court injunction just happened in Texas. We automatically went out, got a blog article out. We posted that and shared that on social. We created an email campaign for all of our clients to quickly get a notification out to our client base to say, hey, this is stop, everything's stop here. I know you're stressed year end and you're worried about BOI, but I'll tell you what, there's an injunction right now. And not only did it happen, but what are the steps? What happened? So what does that do? Builds trust, builds, authority that you are there. And it's just, you're being consistent. You're being, there's just real value there, right? So that's just a real quick example. Obviously life events are there, but let's talk about the type of content tax and accounting firms. So the tax clients, you have a certain type of client. This is why I said maybe you want to segment some databases of people that are only tax, maybe only send them tax issues. Business clients, send them business issues. But what type of content should I be developing?
It's a great question. And there is a little bit of a gray area here. There's not a black and white answer, but the best answer to the question is that you should be developing content that speaks to your audience. Not every tax firm has the same audience, right? You might be specializing in small business owners. You might be specializing in high net worth individuals. You might have niched really deep, like we talk about, and be specializing in people who run Shopify stores. I have a client who specializes in that. So there are a lot of different categories that you might be specializing in. But when it comes to developing content, you want to think about what your readers want to read. You need to give them value. So think about what's going to help them, what's going to address their pain points. So for example, if you are truly targeting your local market, and let's just say you live in Baltimore. We haven't used Baltimore recently. So let's say you're living in Baltimore.
Still starts with a B though, Boston and Baltimore.
And the East Coast. I don't know. Maybe we'll get away from it eventually. But let's say you're a Baltimore-based tax firm and you are really focused on serving that local community. You're passionate about it. So what you could do is start developing content around tax changes in the state of Maryland or in the city of Baltimore that are going to impact your clients. If you specialize in small business owners, for example, there might be tax changes that are coming that are going to affect people who you work with. If you're getting ahead of the game and sharing with them exactly what changes they need to expect and how you can help them address it, that's going to hit all of those boxes that we already talked about, keeping you top of mind, providing value, and potentially leading to referrals. So you really want to think about who your audience is and how you can best serve them when you're coming up with content for your newsletter.
Yeah, and I would like to add just life events is a big deal for us. And I'll give you some examples. You're a business owner, you're nearing retirement. One of the articles that you could create for your client base is, hey, how to prepare for a future sale. What are the options? Who are the potential buyers? An article like how to choose your founder. There's ways that those are life event issues. As individuals, if someone has children, how to plan for their college education savings. Should you start saving for them now in tax deferred accounts, right? So those are all these different ways that you can hit up life events. And the reason this is so important is obviously life events don't occur one time a year. So if you're talking just a tax practice, seeing clients during tax season, they happen year round. So your newsletter, if it's including content like that, that's going to make a big difference, right? That's going to make a higher return on ROI. So basically, they're going to be reading it. They're going to be, oh, wait a second, this applies to me. And that's going to be a kind of a game changer. So we're talking about the type of content. We talked about segmenting there a little bit. So let's say now I've segmented my database and I got the newsletter out. It's jamming. I'm getting referrals from it. I now want to do more targeted things. And this is where I brought in the examples of upselling to my existing client base. Obviously, every influencer, accounting influencer, tax influencer is talking about value pricing and the way things are changing. But the reality is, most cases, I know there's some people like to debate this. It is better and more transparent for your client. So what we have seen is you're going to be able to sell more of those packages. You can make them scalable if you start using technology and processes. But now that we've segmented your database like we recommended, how can I now upsell services to them? Like, what would that look like? Kind of how do we do it for our clients and kind of what's from?
Yeah, so for our clients, we actually have some upsell campaigns pre-built that are great because they're kind of drip campaigns, right? So they have an email, they have a landing page, and they have a downloadable white paper. So that's one route you can go. You can actually set up campaigns that are going to send them multiple emails in a sequence, telling them why they should consider your new service, why, for example, upselling a tax prep client to a tax planning client on the individual side, how much money they can save over the course of a year by allowing you to do proper tax planning for them, take all of their assets, all of their investments, all of those things into account. A lot of times people just aren't thinking about why they need this upsold service. So once you put it in front of them, they're going to start thinking about it. They're going to go ahead and book a meeting. And like we said, these are warm leads. These are people who are already in your database, so they already trust you. So by showing them that you can provide more value to them by upselling them to a higher package, they already like your services. So it's not a big leap to say that they would want to work with you more frequently or allow you to do more for them. So it's really, really important to highlight the success stories that you've already had. Social proof is huge. We talk about that a lot. So in these email sequences that you're sending out, make sure you're showing, hey, we helped so-and-so with this issue and they're saving, $10,000 a year now or whatever that number is. The storytelling aspect of things can be really important in making people kind of dive in a little bit more, get a little more immersed in what you're doing, and therefore ultimately become a conversion.
Right. And I think the concept here is even in your newsletter, if you're talking about subjects that would be included in your tax planning product. So let's say year-round tax harvesting is a perfect example. It was actually one of our most read articles. We did one last month, and it's showing value. It's showing, hey, if you actively do year-round tax harvesting, you're looking at a 1% higher yield. So what does this mean? And I think maybe we shouldn't call it upselling. Reality is you're selling a better financial outcome. It's not costing them any money. They're making more money. They have more money in their pockets afterwards. But 100% start looking at segmenting your client base, utilizing a campaign style. We recommend a 3 email set, a white paper. If you've been backing this up year round with a lot of content about subjects that are in these different services or packages, they're already going to be kind of queued up that, oh yeah, I get this now. I've heard it enough. I'm starting to buy in. And you're really starting to sell, again, the value of what you're doing. So upselling is 100% you should do it this year. I would do a strategy. I would have a couple of meetings with staff and kind of talk it all over. How can we do this via email? How do we do this at a client appointment? How do we figure out flags that say, hey, this client should move into this package, and these are the reasons why. I would have a set of talking points on, what you would use during the conversation. We've done webinars before on how to do a discovery call. And you can walk clients through this. And if you use these kind of strategies, you're going to be able to, it's going to be easier for you to sell, so to speak. And again, the product will start selling itself. People will start self-selecting. This is a package that makes sense for me. All right. So we're talking more about the database, and I'm going to give you another way to utilize that asset that you may have not thought of. And that's what we call lookalike social media campaigns. So what we're saying is if we have a client database that we really like, these are the type of clients you want. Not the ones you don't want. You don't want lookalikes or the ones you don't want. But there's a set of clients that you really like. How can you, Rebecca, utilize social media, or even there's other technology tools that could create lookalike campaigns for you that you can do targeted AdWords and or retargeting on social media? So kind of explain what that looks like.
Yep. So a lookalike campaign is kind of exactly what it sounds like. If you're not familiar with the term, it is going to target people who look like those clients. So they're going to have similar attributes to those people. They might be in a similar income demographic. They might be living in a similar area, working in a similar area, following similar types of businesses. There's a lot of different factors that can go into this. But basically what you're going to want to do is upload your email database to a platform that offers lookalike campaign capabilities. Meta is an easy example, so we'll just stick with it. Through Meta, you can run ads on both Instagram and Facebook, so it's super easy. Both of those are great platforms that aren't going to necessarily cost you a ton of money to get a decent ROI, which is also a really important factor when it comes to choosing a place to run ads. So once you upload that database, you're going to want to think about what pain points you want to focus on in order to appeal to these lookalike clients who are similar to the ones you already love working with. So it could be if you're working with restaurant owners, we use restaurant owners as an example a lot, and they are dealing with inventory management. That's a pain point for a lot of your clients. It's something they want you to deal with. That could be a great topic for an ad campaign and a landing page. Hey, we're going to solve your inventory issues so you can focus on making great food and serving your clients and delivering an excellent experience. Boom. That's one type of lookalike campaign that you could run for a very specific niche audience. You want specific niche audiences when you're running ads. That's important. We're all inundated with hundreds, if not thousands of ads every single day from different sources. So you need to stand out. You need to be appealing to something that's going to grab people's eye and they're going to say, wait, I need this. So that's something to consider whenever you're running a lookalike campaign.
Another suggestion to add on to this is set up a nurture campaign for those that downloaded the white paper, for example, and then kind of have follow-ups of the value that you're offering. Again, as Rebecca said, use images that speak to it, to that audience. Let's say they're gym owners or CrossFit gym owners, having images and copy that speaks specifically to them. It's going to really help with the ROI. And then follow up with very specific, don't go to sell. Go into backing up what your promise is, what the benefits are if you do utilize a service like you're offering. Whether that be more vacation time, whether that be you wear so many hats, and the last one you want to worry about is budgeting, for example, or cash flow. We take that stress off of you. So those are kind of ways to do that. Which leads me into, I think, the last one and probably the most important one is how utilizing your email database with a strong, consistent client newsletter will help build lifelong client relationships. So you have your newsletter, but also think of all the other things you could send. Happy 4th of July, happy birthday, recognizing anniversaries, whatever. So there's all these different things that your CRM can push out for you, and it can be automated, but kind of explain how this helps build these, because everyone wants lifelong clients, or as long as you like them, right? But the idea is we want to build lifelong clients that refer business and stay with me for a long time, value my advice, they listen to me, they're doing better. That is just a win-win. It's very, rewarding. But how can these email campaigns help build these long-term relationships?
Yeah, so We talk a lot about personalization. I think even last week we were talking about the importance of personalization and of just making people feel really important and like they matter to you. And that's what this is going to ultimately do. It's going to make people feel like you care. Going to show them that you are not just looking at them as another number in your machine, so to speak. They're not just a cog for you. They are a person. They care about what's going on in your life. They care about your birthday. They care about, your 5-year anniversary with them as your tax preparer. Those different sorts of things are going to go a long way towards cementing loyalty and also toward making these people comfortable with sharing you with their people in their lives. So if they have had a great experience with you, they really appreciate these, happy holidays emails or, we see you had a baby. Maybe you follow them on Facebook and you see they had a baby. So you're sending them a proactive, congratulations on your new addition email. There's just so many different things you can do. But the more you connect with your clients, the more they are going to connect with you and be less likely to leave. You're going to have less churn. It's really important because at the end of the day, you have access to very personal parts of their lives and they want to trust you. So at the end of the day, it's really all about relationships in the tax and accounting industry. And email is a great way to start building those relationships very easily.
Rebecca, that sounds wonderful, exciting, but what if I were the firm that had been neglecting my email database? I have not been using an email newsletter. I have some people that haven't received emails from me in a while. What would be your suggestions, like real basic things to kind of re-engage those before you start hitting them up too often, making sure you kind of grease the wheel, so to speak?
Yeah, so first, do the cleanup. You talked a lot about hygiene, database hygiene. That's the first step to kind of getting things back in order and starting to re-engage with the people who actually need to be engaged with, right? And then one option is to send like a "We miss you" campaign. Hey, we know it's been a while. We miss you. We miss engaging with you. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, check out this blog post, give them something to click on to kind of get them re-engaged, to show them that you're offering value on these different platforms. And then that should lead into them, clicking on other blogs or engaging with your social or following you if they don't, that type of thing. You can also send like an offer to anybody who you haven't engaged with in a certain amount of time. Let's say it's been 6 months or a year since you sent an email. You could offer every client who downloads a particular white paper, for example, 50% off their first month of bookkeeping service, something of that nature. There are a lot of different things you can offer, but that's just an example. So there are things you can do. Those are two good ones: to either invite them to engage with something you've posted on another platform or offer a special offer for anyone who engages with an email in a particular way. Good ways to re-engage people. And then from there, just make sure you're consistently sending those newsletters, sending those personalized celebratory emails, and the rest of it kind of will work for itself as you're automating all of these different campaigns.
Yeah, why don't we just do 3 months off? It's not your money, Rebecca. Let's just give it on. I'm kidding. No, but these are definitely ways to just create, again, engagement. You can also do really easy messages, like basically, hey, reply to this email so that no one has to go to a white paper, no one has to put their information on, and you can ask kind of like an open-ended question, and that's another way to get a lot of engagement back and forth. Since a lot of you are individuals and or you have your own set of clients, I also suggest at times doing what looks like, even if you're doing it at scale, one-to-one emails, so text only. Don't get too overly designy, if that makes sense. But definitely another way to deal with this. All right, I think we have covered this issue pretty well. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is you might be feeling a little overwhelmed. So a lot of times we've been talking to clients lately a lot about our new tools. So we rebranded our AI assistant, calling it Max, and we've been integrating a ton of tools in there. Max can write your blog articles. It could create a newsletter. It could do your topic searching. It could help you segment a list. It could help you create a niche. There's all kinds of things. This can save you literally hours and hours a day. And we've been getting a lot of clients. We have literally thousands of clients using our AI assistant now. But what I've heard is, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I'll deal with this in May. You can't miss this tax season. Do not miss this opportunity this year. You have tax planning changes on the horizon. Your clients are going to depend on you more than ever. I know that Trump's plan is to get tax reform in whatever phase that is, whether that's extending, whether that's changing the tax code in the second half of the year. But it is their number two thing that they're going after. Your clients are going to hear from you year round. Utilize tools like Max AI that is trusted, trained on the tax code, trained on accounting principles that will really help you kind of assist you in developing a lot of this content. We do have some AI. If you go to accountingworkspro.com on the top banner, if you do this recently after this podcast, we have a free 2-hour AI training. It's like an AI 101, and it will really go through a lot of the issues that I just talked about and really kind of show you step by step. This is what a prompt looks like. This is how you write a prompt to get the right answers. At this point, these tools are so intelligent, so well done that if you understand and become a master prompt writer, you can do almost anything with AI. So 100% time saver, something I would look at. So I'm wrapping this up, Rebecca. Did I miss anything in today's topic?
I don't think so. I feel like we hit on everything.
This one to me is the biggest no-brainer of all. This is a flat out, you could conceivably double your income if you did this correctly this year. So definitely, if you have any questions, reach out to us on LinkedIn. Obviously, you can go to accountingworkspro.com, talk to one of our strategists about some of our products. Obviously, we automate all of this. We do all this content creation for you. So if it's something that you feel overwhelmed, don't have enough time, we know what we're doing. And then, even our new deep dive audio kind of two-way conversations about this content have been game-changing for our clients. We're getting incredible downloads from these, and the clients are really appreciating the kind of a different way to engage in this topic and content. Is another way to just expand things. So again, thank you for tuning in to the Growth Minded Accountant podcast. I hope you share this podcast with your friends. Please hit subscribe as well on the YouTube version, because you'll get a notification each time we put new content up. We're working on a bunch of different things. As I hinted, we kind of go back and forth marketing. We might go back into AI. We'll probably have some new marketing concierge type things to talk about, but really probably tax marketing for taxing and some other ideas. So we'll have some good topics coming up here in the next few weeks. If we don't hear from you, have a happy holiday, and we'll hope to see you again at the Growth Minded Accountant. Thank you.